Hey guys, it's Hannah.
Hey, it's Shiloh.
Camila.
And Aubrey.
Welcome back to Mics.and.Mischief, where we will dive into questions and topics that are important to Gen Z. Each episode, we will bring you fresh insights, intriguing concepts, and thought-provoking conversations. So grab your headphones, get comfy, and let's get into it.
For our first segment, we want to talk about the recent engagement of two celebrity couples and how love is in the air. What are everyone's thoughts on both Benny Blanco and Selena's engagement and Tom Holland and Zendaya's? Wait, Tom Holland and Zendaya are getting engaged?
You didn't know this?
No, it's been happening for a while.
They are fiancés. This is done.
That's okay. Honestly, I feel like it's due.
I've been wanting their relationship to move forward since Spider-Man came out. And I was like, I want Zendaya and Tom Holland. Everybody was like, that's not gonna happen. They always, I was like, no, it's gonna happen. The chemistry was real, and
That's so true. It's honestly about time, and I love how you're a fan from day one.
Bro, I've been a fan since day one, been a fan since minute one, hour one, second one. Did you see the pictures of them in Italy together?
Actually, no. Tell me about that.
They were so cute. They were at the pool, and they were switching books. Like, they both had books that they were reading, and while they were in the pool, like, sunbathing, they would, like, switch books and, like, laugh with each other about the topic, like, where's my Italian books?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, where's mine? Hello.
And Betty Blanco and Selena, what do we think about them?
Wait, wait.
Aubrey's got opinions.
Good evening. If I was with Selena, I would still be treating her better than you. Better than you.
Okay. I love Haley.
So
but
yes.
JB didn't actually sing that. It was just like a
No.
random person. But
Yeah.
She sounds exactly like Justin Bieber. It's kind of confusing. Anyways, it was a parody, and it was like, what what are thoughts if Justin Bieber spoke out on his thoughts about Benny Blanco?
And like the girl
is so popular.
Yeah, and she made like it was like at first it was like the unreleased track or whatever, which is like
Yeah.
the first one that I just showed, and then she made like more songs. It was like more songs from the album. And
Yeah.
like,
Bro, people are making like remixes.
I know,
There are
yeah,
beats
music
behind
videos,
that song.
like,
That's
yes.
wait, music videos?
yeah, I seen like one. It was like a short clip, but it was like a new music video, and it was like this girl dancing. I was like, oh my god.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. My question is like, who has the time for that, low key? Like who is sitting in their bed at night, like, time to make another video, guys?
Oh my!
That's
don't
me.
you know that the Believers and the Haley stans do not rest? They do not sleep.
That's
and they
so
do not
true.
close
Haley
their eyes.
stands.
I didn't know people liked her.
Okay. Unpopular opinion. I low key support her because she's his wife, and everyone treats her so poorly.
This is my opinion.
Well,
Y'all, it's been
Yeah.
years, bruh. It's been years. Get over it. They have
Right.
a kid. They're both getting, like, one is already married and one is getting married. Like, y'all are just so sad.
have you seen that one where they were like at an arcade and Haley and Justin were playing against each other, and Justin started yelling, was like, I wasn't trying.
Oh yes.
Oh my god.
That's actually real.
And then no, they was on live and she was like touching his shoulders.
Oh,
He's
I
like,
saw
no, I just don't want to be touched like ever or something like that. I was like,
Oh yeah,
no.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
No, and she's like kind of crazy. Like I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like that might be me sometimes,
is.
but it's never to that extent. Like she like stalked this man for years,
Like,
That's
she
plotted on the
Smart.
downfall of him and
Yeah.
Selena. And
That's
I still
true.
believe that like her dad pulled a few strings.
Oh, probably.
I mean,
giving.
That's true, but at
Yeah.
the same time, that is
yeah,
all.
and like at the same time, I really wish my parents would do that for me.
Oh gosh.
I would. Never mind.
Oh yeah, it might be best to end that conversation.
Guys, I could be Haley 2.0. It depends.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay.
No, I'm
One thing
kidding.
is like that is what the media wants to portray, which is that she stalked them for so long. But like, is the media always honest? Let's
Yeah.
be honest. No.
And weren't there crazier fans that stalked him even crazier, but they don't think themselves crazy?
Right, because no one talks about them because they're low key NPCs.
Yes,
But-
exactly. But she's the NPC that won.
Oh,
So
gosh.
she's-
That's
so
true.
And that's how we're
everybody
gonna end that segment. Now moving on to our second segment, this next topic is about the guilt of being a first-generation immigrant child and the pressures that come with it. Shiloh and Camila, who are the two children of immigrants in the room, and this segment being their idea. What do you guys have to say on this subject?
I have a whole lot to unpack. Shiloh?
Man, you go ahead.
Okay. First of all, lots of people, this segment was a little hard because we were like, not a lot of people can relate.
Right.
And I can understand if you can't relate. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a first-generation immigrant family. I mean, immigrant mother or father or parents. But an immigrant family in general, if that history doesn't apply to you, there's nothing wrong with having another outlook on life or see what people have gone through.
Right.
So that's why I just wanted to say that at the beginning of this. If you can't relate, learn. And if you can relate, then hopefully...
Relate.
maybe you're healing your inner child with these discussions.
So tell us about this guilt that you're talking about.
Well, it's a lot of different types of guilt. I think it comes with the guilt of opportunities your parents didn't have. It comes with the guilt of not fully understanding their sacrifice, the guilt of assimilation, of like losing the language, the customs, the closeness to your family from where your parents were from, the culture, all of that, especially if you come to a place of America. It's a melting pot, but the thing with melting pot is that nothing stays like its original form. So you're not going to have the same influence with your parents' culture that your parents would have being in their country or in their home. And it comes with the guilt of growing into a life your parents worked for, but they can't fully enter themselves because they still have that background, that history, or even that trauma from before.
Yeah. So can I ask, you're talking a lot about the guilt, and I totally believe you. Is any part of it exciting? Because America is a place that, you know, if you have some sort of documentation that you're here, this can be a really successful place for people that are starting from the ground up. I mean, you kind of are because you're just now coming here. Is that exciting at all, or does that impact either one of your perspectives or train of thought?
Yes, sure, there's like the exciting parts of it, but then it feels like sometimes excelling because you owe your parents everything they've given you. So these opportunities you're talking about, it feels like I have to take advantage of every single one because of every single sacrifice my parent took to get me here. So sometimes it's like, also, if you're like, there's hard work that comes with it, with succeeding, or with getting in life where you want to be. There's struggles, but sometimes you feel like you have to be quiet about them because, my parent went through worse.
I have a question for you, Camila. So I know, like, you've told us kind of like about like your family's past, but like when where'd they come from? Spain?
Oh, my mom's Cuban.
Oh, okay. So like when she like lived wherever like she was originally, like what did she do? Was she like poor? Was she like rich? Like you don't have to answer, but like I'm just kind of curious.
Actually loaded.
Yeah, we was really rich,
Oh
but
my gosh. They were middle class, but I want you to understand that middle class in Cuba is not middle class America. Middle class Cuban is the lowest class of America.
Right.
So it's a different scale. For over them, they were okay at the highest point of their life.
Okay.
But there were moments, definitely, in my family's history where you were really scraping the sidewalk.
Is that why like they moved or
They didn't move. My family is still there, and it's the only person that I have on my mom's side here is my mom.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, talking about like traditions and culture, like, and history, I just have my mom to depend on telling me all of that. And I'm blessed to be able to go back to Cuba. I know there's a lot of families, though, a lot of like children who their family is from, Mexico or Colombia or, or the Philippines. It's not always Hispanic or Latin countries like some believe. Immigrants come from other places too. Immigrants just means somebody who doesn't originate from said place. But lots of times they can't go back to the country where their parents are from because under the circumstances that their parent left.
Yeah.
So if you defect, so it's like you leave your country illegally, but usually you can't go back ever. And so if you're a child from a parent from that circumstance, you're losing everything. Like you're losing their all their traditions, their ancestry, their way of life. And so it's kind of like my parent did all of that for me. I have to make sure that they know that it was worth the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that's the type of guilt that I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I say that. It's gratefulness. It's beyond gratefulness that you're like, how in the world can I compensate for something that I will never be able to make the same level of sacrifice that they did for me for them?
Yeah, and I think that probably also ties into the pressures of being an immigrant child, or a child of a first generation immigrant. Shiloh, are you interested in sharing any kind of your own story?
I think there's also the guilt of struggles, and what I mean by that is when you're struggling, there are moments where I feel like as a daughter of a first generation immigrant, my struggles feel less valid than theirs because they made so many sacrifices for their future kids to have better opportunities than my parents ever did. So there's also like a battle between honoring your family and their sacrifices, and there's also another battle of choosing your own path. Because like specifically for me, I think there are moments where I feel like I'm pressurized to pick a specific career that my parents want for me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I don't know, like I don't have the right to go against that because they already made all these sacrifices. Might as well do it for them because they they're the reasons why I'm here to have the opportunity anyway. But like, yeah, there are moments where that happens. Personally, that's never happened to me, and I'm grateful that my parents are willing to let me take a job that I want to do. But there are many immigrant families there that I know that like have a hard time in honoring their family as well as choosing honoring themselves.
So Shiloh actually brought up an amazing point. Speaking of pressures, one huge one that is understandably placed on so many young people and teens today is the expectation of a chosen college and career at such a young age. As the people that are most affected by this push, what are your opinions and how could this better approach the issue?
Yeah. So I think that's definitely a struggle that like the majority of teens face today. Yeah, I think it's actually really toxic. Honestly, the pressure to find a college and a career so young in life. I mean, people are pushing this at the age of 14 and 13. And it's a different conversation to be like, oh, what are you interested in? Like, what do you want to do whenever you grow up? Than like, so actually, what are you doing? And I think that's really toxic. There are actually some cases, I haven't really researched this, but I've heard numerous news articles on this, which is that students that are being pushed into careers in colleges will go to those colleges and then, second semester they drop out because it's a lot of money and they're not actually dedicated and they were only really going there due to the pressure from those around them.
Well, that's also why I think it's like important, like when you're like child's growing up, like to stress the fact it's like not like what like I want you to do or like what you can do. It's like what do you like to do and like what do you like actually see yourself being successful in. I feel like a lot of people like they just like want to make the most money or they just want to like be like look the best or whatever and they don't like choose what they're actually interested in, which is why I feel like they fail in life or like drop out the second semester and not end up liking it because they don't even want to go where they're going.
And I have some statistics.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, so roughly 80% of college students switch their majors at least once, and 10% switch them more than once. And researchers indicate that as many as third of college graduates are not working in a job related to their college major.
That is crazy. And I've seen so many things on TikTok, like how people will get like degrees and like some have multiple degrees and cannot find a job, which that is just insane to me. And Mr. Bossy, he was actually telling us the other day that he said a bachelor's degree is the same as a high school diploma as it was in the 80s. Like that's how hard it is to find these jobs. And like, I feel like it shouldn't be that way, especially for people that like went to high school and then proceed to do more years of college.
Yeah, I think it's crazy how graduates don't end up working in fields directly related to their chosen major. But again, it's not that surprising because you're asking 16, 17, 18-year-olds to choose
Or younger
the education that they're going to have that's going to lead them into the job that supposedly they're going to work for the rest of their life in that same pool. But like it's not realistic.
Well, it's also like they don't choose it like when they're like older. Like they get like I feel like most people choose it like while they're still like in high school. The classes you take now will like base like what your future career kind of is. I know like certain like programs or whatever for that specifically.
Well, the statistics also say that the average American has 3 jobs or 3 careers in their life. So I think that's also reflective. For example, if you want to go into the medical field, you're probably not going to go into the medical field and then become a teacher. That's just not what the majority of people do. But
The fact that's actually what my mom did.
wait, actually,
My mom was going to, I forgot, ophthalmologist, somebody who studies eyes. Ophthalmologist, thank you. And then she like left college and now she's a Spanish teacher.
Wow.
And she only had like 1 term left.
Wait, does she teach in a school? Or, like,
she has her own.
oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, but that's funny because that's what I know. But unrelated.
yeah, interesting. Well, but anyway,
But that's like a rare case, and that's
right. So ultimately, what can the solution to this problem be?
Is there a solution?
a social rewriting.
Right. I mean, it would take a large social movement,
And it
but
would take a long time. 'Cause
Yeah.
it would.
There's so many like inset issues that have been going on for a long time, and a solution would take years.
Yeah.
And
It would.
I think with like a majority of people not getting the job they wanted with a degree that they learned and earned, I think it's because of competition.
Yeah.
Because like you're not the only person who's trying to get a degree in that specific career, and there's the competition that comes along with it. The companies want better people, or I think it's just very toxic because like, oh, just because this one looks better, I'll just choose that one. I don't know. I just feel like
Yeah.
there are missed out opportunities because of the competition that comes with your career. Because there's always going to be competition no matter how big or small. And that's especially like, I want to talk about the medical field. Doctors, that is a very toxic community from what I've learned. And
Your
like,
mother's a nurse too.
yeah. So it's just like the toxicity that comes in that community can be really like, it's really eye-opening knowing how these are the struggles that these people face. Like the doctors, they earn that money. Like after 10 years of education that they earn what they're doing. But there are moments where they don't even get matched. Like being matched is like being matched into whatever career they want in the doctor field. And if they don't get matched, you're just like, you're devastated.
Yeah, I think that's
'Cause,
interesting
like, 10
because
years and you didn't, get the job that you wanted. So
right, I think that's interesting. My father's also in the medical field. I've never heard anything like that. And maybe that just comes with different work environments. You know, different places are more toxic than others. My dad's work seems to be very a healthy place, you know, as a work environment can be. There's always issues. But also the demand for the medical field is like really big. Like there is a demand. So if you go into the medical field, you have a high percentage of getting a job.
well, that's going to wrap up this podcast episode. Let us know any comments, questions, or even possible segment ideas you would like to hear. Also, if you would like to be featured or join us for an episode, you can find the link on our social media. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Music. Until our next episode, keep exploring, stay curious, and thanks for being a part of the Mics and Mischief community. See you next time.